Dave, welcome back and congratulations on what has been a really impressive string of karate combat events lately.
Thanks, man. It's always a pleasure to be here.
All right, so to kick this off, let's talk about some of those events. It seems like during these past few events, karate combat is reaching a new level of exposure and awareness. What do you attribute that success to?
Yeah, it's a good question. We've definitely thrown together some really amazing events in a row. So that helps. I guess probably going back to Dubai in April, followed up by Consensus in May, that really viral event we had down in Orlando, and then this last one in Nashville. It felt like, each one kept getting better, more and more buzz. And so it's hard to pinpoint exactly why, but it feels like we, hit an inflection point at some point over this year, and it feels good.
So, since you have that Web3 aspect of karate combat and you're able to do these alongside events like Consensus and BTC Nashville just this past week, do you think that has something to do with it?
I do. I do. It's a really unique opportunity, and it sort of fell in our lap. We had, most of the big crypto conferences in the world reach out to us at the beginning of this year. We bet the entire league on Web3, and for us, it's easier to sell sponsorships at these events. Frankly, it's even easier to fill the stadium at these events. You got this built-in audience that knows about us, even though we're traveling all over the world, right? We can fly into this city we've never been to. We did zero marketing locally, and we could still fill a stadium. So yeah, I think it's helping a lot. I think the Web3 audience is super passionate about karate combat, and it's definitely attributing to our success in big and in surprising ways that you wouldn't even think about.
Well, I wasn't able to make it to this past event, but I know we put on that built on Hedera booth. How
Yeah.
did that go?
That was a blast, man. We got to keep doing that, in my opinion. Yeah, so we had a bunch of Hedera projects, set up a really nicely done interactive installation at the end of the VIP walkway. So we had this really long, beautiful sort of VIP walkway back to the VIP entrance and bar. And the built on Hedera booth was right at the end of that. And so they got to interact with, I don't know, probably 1,000 to 1,500 VIPs over the course of the evening, including tons of celebrities and huge Web3 influencers. It seemed like they were having fun with it.
So now let's get into your app a little bit. Can you tell us about some of the
Yeah.
new features and new ways you've been using your app here in recent months?
Sure. So thinking about like how we've iterated the app over the last few months, probably the biggest feature that we added that's most recognizable, built an affiliate program off of vote delegation. So if you talk to similar products in the kind of digital sports interactive space, a lot of them have grown off of affiliate programs. We couldn't build a traditional affiliate program on Up Only Gaming because it's a free product. So you can't really pay someone for bringing a new user. So instead, we built this really cool twist on an affiliate program off of vote delegation. I'd say it's only sort of half built right now. The other half is going to require us to transition to staking. But the way it works is any user can delegate their picks to any other user. And so ideally, people with audience, super fans, KOLs are going out there and saying, hey, delegate your votes to me. I'll make your picks for you in return for a small portion of the upside. And so that's got a decent amount of buzz. But yeah, I have to take a look at the app to see what else we've been building in there over the last few months. I get kind of lost thinking about what our future plans are.
What about, how you're using the new DAO features, how you're using voting and voting on different things recently?
Oh yeah, well that's what happens when you build like a software product. You're like, oh hey, I can actually use this feature for something else. So at Consensus, we ran a Fight of the Night bonus that Kraken sponsored. They wanted to do a $10,000 prize to the IFC Fight of the Night. We ran that in May from Hashback, actually won that prize. We tried something similar on our own in this event. It was a knockout, so it was sort of obvious like who the prize was going to be to. But had it been a split decision, it might have been a little bit more interesting. A 5 million karate token bonus to the kind of fans decide winner of the last fight of the evening. And so yeah, I think you can use the voting feature in a ton of different interactive ways. We're a little bit hamstrung currently on our current setup for really creating like interactive pieces of up only gaming during the event. So in advance of staking coming out, we're testing some other ways to get people to use the app during the event.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So you mentioned some of those new features. Can you give us some insights along those lines?
Yeah, of course. So we've been talking a lot about this, I think. Right now, the way the product works is it runs off of like snapshot. So for 48 hours before each event, token holders can vote on which fighters they think are going to win. However, that voting cuts off a half an hour before the event starts. And of course, it starts 48 hours before the event. What that means is we can't market the app effectively right when a fight is announced. And then most importantly, we can't market the app during the most important period of time, which is actually during the event. So ideally during the event, you're hammering the audience, hey, go download the app now so you can vote on this next fight and earn more tokens. We have a plan and we're executing on transitioning from sort of unlock snapshot model to more of a like locked up staking model where to play you need to have your tokens staked and you can come in at any time, buy tokens, stake them to play. That'll allow people to like buy tokens during the event and play immediately.
Well, let's get into those tokens a little bit more and speak to those token holders. How are you thinking about up-only gaming in terms of sustainability? We know that you had a fair amount of runway already built in, but how do we make that go on for years to come?
I mean, I think the most important thing to look at is like just think about it right now, right? So like the prize pool on this last event was 150 million tokens. The total supply of the karate token is 110 billion tokens. So actually, when you run the numbers, it's like it's not material in a way, in my opinion. Like you could do that forever. That being said, there's a few different ways where you could transition away from new issuance for sponsored kind of up only gaming events and then some other things that unfortunately I can't talk about. But I think if you just look at the core numbers today, the people who are concerned about like issuance for up only gaming like just aren't looking at the underlying numbers.
That makes a lot of sense. And the things that you were saying, I think that's exactly what token holders want to hear. So is there anything else you'd like to pass on before we let you go?
Well, we've got a huge event coming up in Singapore in about 6 weeks. Arguably could be the biggest event of the year. We'll see. Token 2049 is easily the biggest crypto conference in Asia, arguably the biggest crypto conference in the world. The conference is on September 18th and 19th, Wednesday and Thursday night, in Marina Bay Sands in Singapore. We will be inside the conference venue on Wednesday night, right between the 2 days of the conference, building a 3,000 person stadium. And we've got a huge IFC card because when we were talking to these Web3 influencers that approached us about fighting, everybody wanted to fight in Singapore. So we got Mario Nafal fighting, Jakey Soul fighting, Ashley DeCan fighting, Blonde Broker fighting, a bunch of others. It's going to be pretty hyped.
Well, I can't wait for that one. Dave, again, congratulations on all the success you've had, and thank you so much for coming on today and telling us about it.
My pleasure, man.
I'm now posting these interviews of Hedera builders independently to my channel. The community, influencers, and media outlets are free to use this content to spread the word on what's being built on Hedera. Once they're all uploaded, you'll be able to go to my channel and search for whatever topic or team you're interested in to find more information. Or you'll be able to get the most recent Hedera news by watching the latest HBAR Weekly Update. So check them out.